Luke was the first pick in the draft coming out of Maryland. He had great court awareness. He understood what his players could do. I think about Luke was kind of a career that was cut way short due to drugs and stuff he was doing.
Well, I always thought I could win whatever I did. I grew up athletically. I didn't grow up as an adult. It was win at all costs. That meant on or off the court. You gotta remember, I never lost a high school tennis match. I didn't even lose a set. Up to like the last year or two, I was the all-time leading scorer in high school basketball, 5'8".
What made you choose Maryland?
Lefty Driesell. Maryland was trying to become the UCLA of the East, and that was Coach Driesell's theory.
And he had no problem with you playing tennis and basketball?
Had no problem with me. So, you know, his honesty was, son, if you're good enough, you're gonna play. If you're not, you're not. I was a business major. I graduated with about 3.2 in business. And life was hard. School was hard. Trying to juggle the basketball and the tennis. Once basketball season hit, I didn't play any tennis. And once tennis season hit, I still played a lot of basketball. So I did both, so I was able to get through school.
As you guys are going to the Elite Eight a couple of years, you're winning the ACC singles title. I mean, you're barely just 2 months out of the year.
I won 2 single titles.
And a doubles.
I won 2 doubles titles in opposite years.
How did you do that?
I made tennis an athletic event. I served in volley, chipped in charge, because I couldn't hit long rallies. I could play, but I couldn't hit long rallies.
And you played in basketball in one of the greatest games of all time, that 1973 Maryland versus NC State. Look at that look on your face.
It still pains me. That game is, what, 30 some odd years old?
Yeah, 40 years old,
40
yeah.
years old, and people still remember that game. I cried like a baby when we lost that game.
Well, 9 seconds left. The game was in your hands at the free throw line. What happened? What happened?
I think I missed the front end of a 1-and-1.
Yeah.
And then we got the ball back, and then we didn't get a shot, and they beat us. But our whole goal was to beat North Carolina State.
So draft day, take me back to that. When I interviewed Earl Campbell, it was right about the same time, mid-70s. He had no idea he was drafted.
You interviewed Earl?
Oh, yeah.
Earl didn't know I was the #1 pick in the draft, too. So I used to tease Earl when he was about to retire. I said, you know what? I can tackle your ass. He used to get so mad at me.
You would bounce right off of him.
I know, I was just teasing him. And he would get mad, man, you couldn't. I said, look, I can tackle you because I'm mentally tougher than you. He went nuts, man. What pick were you? I was the first pick. What pick were you? I was #1 pick.
He said he was walking around campus, had no idea he was drafted. You know, now it's televised, people, they're at the event. What was that draft day like for you? June 8th, 1976.
I was playing a pickup game down in the Armory at Maryland, and I was all set to go to the Milwaukee Bucks, like 5th. And when somebody said, you know, they just made a trade. Well, yeah. And you're gonna be the #1 pick. Oh, yeah?
That was
okay,
it?
Yeah. Get on a plane, get your suit. You're going to Houston to be the first pick in the draft. Back then, the draft was done over the telephone. And I heard Red Auerbach say, I can't believe we're taking a guard as the #1 pick in the draft. That's ridiculous. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, you were the first little guy to go #1 overall.
Yeah.
And I think the first until Iverson, the only one until Iverson went. What did that mean to you?
Not much.
Really?
I think that, I think as I look back over my life, my goal was to get there. And once I got there, I said, now what? Once I got to play against the stars that I had admired coming up through college, I went, now what? And I think what happened for me was once I reached the goals of an athlete, it was, now what? What's next? It wasn't anything higher than a pro. So that really is what probably ran me into some of my addiction, was because I went from, now what? I played these games. And my first year, we went to the finals of the conference and lost to the Sixers. Now what? So, you know, I think that's where my addiction for drugs and alcohol started really coming out, because now I was like, is this it?
Super fast one, fantastic leader. I'm gonna miss him.
He had a heck of a role. You know, here we had all these guys who like to shoot the ball, and he had to be the guy to keep everybody happy.
Well, you know, John's, hit one of my best friends, and I hate to see him go.